What if I told you that a music box, silent for more than half a century, suddenly played again? At first it sounds impossible. A broken melody lost in time, waiting in silence. But when it finally returned, it didn't just bring music. It brought back a secret hidden for decades. This is not just about an object. It's about destiny, memory, and the mysterious ways love finds to reach us, even when the person is no longer here. Imagine opening a forgotten box and discovering not only a melody, but a voice from the past that changes everything you thought you knew about life. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear is one of those rare stories that prove the past never really dies. It just waits for the right moment to come alive again. It was a rainy afternoon when Margaret, a woman in her late 60s, decided to clean her late mother's house one last time. Every object seemed to whisper a story. Porcelain cups that had served countless family gatherings, yellowed books that carried the scent of time, and framed photographs where smiles never faded. But what truly caught her attention was a small wooden box tucked away on the top shelf of an old cabinet. She pulled it down carefully, brushing away the dust that coated its surface. It was the music box she remembered from her childhood. The lid was cracked, the paint faded from years of neglect, and the winding key looked rusted and stiff. Still, it carried a weight of memories. She could almost hear the faint lullaby that had once filled her room at night. Margaret remembered lying in bed as a little girl, eyes heavy with sleep, while her mother would wind the key and let the melody play. The notes were soft, delicate, and comforting, like a musical embrace that carried her into dreams. But one day, decades ago, the music box had stopped working. It had fallen silent, and so had that nightly ritual. Now, holding it again, Margaret felt as if a piece of her childhood had been returned to her. She placed the box on the table and sat in silence, staring at it. The house was empty now, the air heavy with the absence of voices that once filled it. Margaret thought of her mother, of the sacrifices she had made, and of the warmth she had given so freely. It was strange how one small object could hold so much of a person's essence. Life had moved on since those nights. Margaret had married, raised children, built a life of her own. Yet in all the chaos of adulthood, the music box had become nothing more than a forgotten relic. Seeing it now, she realized how much she had missed its presence. The silence of the box mirrored her own feelings, memories of love that time had locked away. But why, after all these years, did it resurface? Why did she feel that this box had something left to give? The questions stirred her heart, almost as if the object itself was calling to her, asking to be remembered not just as a decoration, but as a messenger from the past. Driven by a mix of curiosity and longing, Margaret reached for the rusty key. It resisted at first, screeching faintly, as if protesting against the passage of time. Slowly, she forced it to turn, and the mechanism groaned. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a single faint note escaped, broken and fragile. Margaret froze, her breath caught. She turned the key again, and this time a few more notes followed, uneven and shaky. The melody was fractured, incomplete. Yet it was the same lullaby she remembered from childhood. With each sound, the years seemed to collapse, and she was once again the little girl listening to her mother by the bedside. Her eyes filled with tears as the music box struggled to play. It was like hearing the voice of someone you had thought was gone forever, imperfect, weak, but still alive. And with every note, Margaret felt a warmth growing in her chest, as if the box had waited all these years just for this moment. As she leaned closer, mesmerized by the faint melody, Margaret noticed something strange inside the lid. The lining, a thin layer of fabric, had a corner that looked slightly loose. With trembling fingers, she lifted it carefully and discovered a folded piece of paper tucked inside. Her heart skipped. The handwriting was instantly familiar, her mother's. She hadn't seen it in years, but it carried the same graceful strokes she remembered from old birthday cards. Her hands shook as she unfolded the fragile paper. The words inside were brief, yet they struck with the force of a lifetime. If you are reading this, I'm no longer there. But know this: I have always believed in you. even when you didn't. Never doubt the strength of your heart. You are capable of more than you know, and my love will always be with you. Margaret pressed the letter to her chest, unable to hold back her tears. It felt as though her mother had reached across time to leave her one final message. A gift hidden within the silence of the music box. The combination of the broken melody and the words on the paper created a moment Margaret would never forget. It was not chance, she thought. It was intentional. Her mother had hidden this message long ago, knowing that one day Margaret would need it most. Suddenly, the silence of the music box over the years made sense. It hadn't simply been broken, it had been waiting. Waiting for the right time, when Margaret would be ready to receive not just the sound of the lullaby, but the wisdom her mother wanted to leave behind. For Margaret, this was more than a coincidence. It was destiny. The melody and the message weren't about the past. They were about the present, about her journey, her strength, and the reminder that even in absence, love continues to guide us. From that day on, the music box became a part of Margaret's life once more. She placed it on her nightstand, and every evening she wound it gently. The melody was still imperfect, sometimes faltering, but it didn't matter. To her, it was the most beautiful sound in the world, because it carried her mother's voice in every broken note. Whenever doubt crept in, about her age, her future, or her ability to face life's challenges, she would open the lid, hear the fragile tune, and remember her mother's words. The music box became her anchor, a symbol that strength doesn't always come from perfection, but from persistence and love. Her children and grandchildren noticed the change in her. She smiled more, spoke with greater warmth, and shared stories about her mother that she had never told before. The music box, once silent and forgotten, had brought not just a melody back to life, but a family's history as well. The music box was no longer just an object. It had transformed into a bridge between generations, proof that love transcends even the silence of decades. For Margaret, it was a reminder that what we think is broken is often just waiting for the right moment to shine again. And that is the lesson for all of us. How many hidden treasures lie forgotten in our homes? Letters, photographs, keepsakes, each carrying voices from the past, waiting for us to listen. How many messages of love remain unopened, not because they don't exist, but because we haven't been ready to hear them. Perhaps life has its own timing. Perhaps nothing is truly lost. Sometimes all it takes is a single moment, the turn of a rusty key, to remind us that love never fades and memory never truly dies. And now I ask you, how many treasures like this are hidden in your home, waiting in silence? How many objects, letters, or photographs carry voices from your past? Voices you may not be ready to hear yet. Life has a way of surprising us. Sometimes what seems broken is not broken at all. It's just waiting. Waiting for the right day, the right moment, the right heart to understand it. So what would happen if you decided to open your own music box today? If this story touched your soul, share your thoughts in the comments. What memory would you like to relive? Don't forget to subscribe to Golden Lane and ring the bell, because here, every story proves that time may pass, but love never fades.